the wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Here we go, your Saturday afternoon delight. It is Ramblers Unleashed, your weekly episodic podcast, all on the wonderful world of professional wrestling. My name is Dizzy. Let me introduce these guys because after we do introductions, gentlemen, I have a big surprise for you. But first and foremost, let me introduce a man who is our heel, the biggest heel that even other heels would pull a Ron Simmons and say, damn! The only guy that I know pops bigger for Joel Gertner than any of us. By the way, Joel Gertner, ECW, if you didn't know. He is the only heel that really matters. You can call him Max, but we call him the mighty Maximus Magus. Golfer's clap. Gentlemen.
Oh, hey, I am so glad to be here. I'm glad you mentioned Joe Gertner because just like the Rubik's Cube, the more you play with it, the harder it gets.
Yeah, I figured you have some Joe Gertner lines, so.
I'm sorry, J-Bone. I should have been paying better attention.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Pay attention.
Damn, Max.
How are you? In a short response, because I know you like to talk and we'll ramble here, but how are you, dude? You okay?
It's Saturday. I'm pretty good.
Good. Perfect.
Unfortunately, the Masters is on my screen. Give me a second.
Yeah, everybody's watching the Masters right now, and they all need to watch us. So next up, a man that gets the proper introduction that he deserves, and everyone can agree that when you stand next to him, you get one of two things. You get high or really hungry or both. He is the final boss. He is the high one. He is the Baron. Golfer's clap, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, Baron?
Yo, fellas. I'm doing good, man. It's Saturday. It's 80 degrees outside here in the Midwest. So we don't have much to complain about. There's no snow, there's no rain, there's no wind. It's just a gorgeous day out. We're talking with the fellas, so can't complain.
Absolutely.
Man. Glad to be
Absolutely. Here. Absolutely. We're happy that you're here, and it's a gorgeous day here too in Southern Illinois. And finally, the man who keeps us on the air and live among the masses of our fans, the proper gentleman, for whom without him, the show wouldn't even exist. And without his missus, we wouldn't be on here to yap away about pro wrestling. He is the host of Smash This Podcast and Total Nonstop Impact with the latest TNA reviews on YouTube over any other podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the great one. He is the infamous. He is the Bone Man, J-Bone. Golfer's clap. How are you, buddy?
Good. Thank you.
Fantastic. I noticed that did you do the golfer's clap?
I did, yeah.
Max?
A golfer's round of applause, but he did. I did the golf clap.
Okay. I didn't even see that, so my apologies. All right.
Clap, damn it. Just kidding.
Clap for that man. Good Lord.
Man named Cotton Joe. I've been mad a long time ago.
Where did you come from? Where did you go?
Where did you come from, Cotton Joe?
Max is gonna dance the jig for us, Jiminy Christmas.
Listen, you forgot in your intro that he is the biggest kid out of all of us, even though I'm a Toys R Us kid and refuse to grow up. Look at that toy collection.
I think we're all Toys R Us kids, and we just refuse to grow up, honestly.
Dude, seriously, have you seen the pictures of the new TNA figs? The pre-order goes up on Monday. Oh my God, they look sick.
No. I'm sure our friends over at Diamond Select Toys too have a lot of great stuff. I've yet to be on their website yet because I've been just so slammed. But head over to our friends' website, Diamond Select Toys, and check out a bunch of different figures on their website too, including AEW. You have Marvel. You have all sorts of cool stuff too. So DiamondSelectToys.com. You can use Code Ramblers20 and save yourself some money. And look at that nice little gear that our friend Max Mage is rocking, courtesy of our store. And you can you can check out the store in the description in the link. The link is in the description of this video. So make sure you get on over there and support us, support your friends. And by the way, big announcement we have for our WrestleMania review from the night, like moments after WrestleMania went off the air. So far, we have over 400 views on that video. So thank you to everybody who has watched a video. If you're sharing it with friends, thank you. We certainly do appreciate you. I know it's huge. Baron sent it to us, and I said, "Wow, that's insane, dude." So thank you to everyone who's watching.
We got some new subs too, so welcome.
Yeah, tell your friends about us. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. If you enjoy what we do, the bell icon will tell you every time we go live. And we appreciate every single one of you for coming over and listening to us do what we do best.
I think that's why I'm always late. I gotta go over and hit the bell icon.
Yeah. He just hits it and turns it off and then turns it back on just to have something to do.
My snooze button.
Gentlemen, I have a surprise for you. Now, I know that on WrestleMania, after WrestleMania was over, Max had a surprise for us, which is he's wearing it right now. That was his surprise. I have a surprise myself. Now, I tried to get this surprise before we went live right after WrestleMania. I couldn't do it, but I got it. I got the surprise, and it's been a moment, and there's been a lot of stuff going on with the world of professional wrestling, and I figured we needed a familiar take on all this stuff going on in the world of professional wrestling, including the stuff that is going on with Vince McMahon. So, J-Bone, if you do have that audio, please play our new analysis, if you would.
There we go.
Peace and love from Bubba. It's been 7 years since I've actually watched wrestling, and Dizzy thought it'd be a great idea for me to do this spot. However, I'm completely clueless. So, let's see what's going on with WWE. Vince McMahon's no longer the owner. Oh, that's interesting. Wonder why. He did what? On her head? Okay. Everyone, please be better than Vince McMahon, and welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, it's our old friend Bubba.
Yay, Bubba!
Bubba's analysis.
That was great.
Now, every once in a while, we will get him on the program. On her head? We'll get him on our program with just some news that we've seen, that we've read, and we need a different opinion on it. We'll get his analysis, and he will send over his thoughts on that. But welcome back, Bubba. We've certainly missed you. A very familiar voice to this podcast. One of the founding figures and fathers of this show when we were rambling about wrestling. And matter of fact, Bubba, I don't know if you guys know this, but Bubba was the person that came up with the name Rambling About Wrestling.
That's because every time we got on air together, all we did was ramble.
What is wild is 7 years ago?
Uh-huh.
Is that when we started doing this? 7 years ago?
We started our first.
Lord.
So here's a fun little trip down memory lane. I just found the hard drive full of our old shows, all the shows that I tried to get off of YouTube or our channel, this channel that you're watching. I found that. So let me see if I can find the first show and see when we first did it. I don't know if I can do it. So let me see here. You
Yeah,
guys talk amongst yourselves.
While you're doing that, I just want to say thank you to Bubba for the analysis and for not peeing on Cam this time, or on Mike this time.
I'm sure he'd appreciate that. I'm definitely sure he'd appreciate that. You know,
Max, those were dark times, man. Those are very dark times in our past that we don't like to bring up. That was during our ECW run, and I don't blame Bubba. He probably had a few too many Bud Lights that night. You gotta go when you gotta go.
You know, I stand by what I said. It may have sucked for us recording those, but we should be proud of the work we did on them.
Oh yeah,
we are definitely proud. So this is when I think this is when I grabbed the video of the show, but it was in 2016. And I think that's about the time we went on. It was around maybe 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. And that was the very first episode of Rambling About Wrestling. And, you know, I think J-Bone and I are going to get together and we're going to go over all this great content that we have, because we've talked to a lot of great people over the years.
We had some damn good content.
Oh, yeah. J-Bone booked to Joseph, which was awesome. And we got JTG from Crime Time when he wrote his book, Damn, Why Did I Write This Book? And we've had Kat Von Hees, a very popular indie wrestler from Canada. We've had her on the program. We've had the gentleman from Wrestling Invades America on our program too, and we've had a lot of good people on our show. Of course, all of our friends from other podcasts, including Anthony DeStefano. We've had G-Rod on here. We've had CM Styles. We've had just a bunch of an array of different people. Austin Hollis.
We cannot forget Puddin' Brain.
We got to.
Oh God.
So yeah. I posted this in the for Dizzy in the private, and then move on or whatever. But I think we started way before 2016. This video showed 2014.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's 10 years ago.
So yeah, we took
a few hiatus in between the start and
we did.
Yeah.
We did. God, where did you find that?
I just typed it in on the Google, and that was like the first video, because I swear we started long before that. And that's got it doesn't have all, but it has quite a few of the ECW reviews on there as well.
Oh my God. So shoot, we might have been earlier than that, man. Probably 2014, 2013, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I can't remember what was big during that time, because there was something that happened in wrestling that was huge, and you got back into it, I think, and that's when the whole thing started again. And I don't remember what happened during that period of time. 2013 sounds about right, man.
Yeah, let me just play a little clip. J-Bone, can I play just a little bit of a clip from our very first show, just to show how far we've come and how far we've progressed? All right, give me just 1 second. I'm going to load this video real quick. I'm going to get the audio ready for you. Here we go. That's Bubba. And he's telling me.
Go. Hey, everybody. Welcome. No? Go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to yet another edition of Rambling About Wrestling. This is the live episode of Rambling About Wrestling here on YouTube.com. You can follow us at youtube.com/user/Rambling About Wrestling. Also, along with me, as always, the Ringside Ramblers. We do have Bubba, and we have Max Magis alongside with Baron. What's going on, guys? How you doing tonight?
And we can get a very, I don't know.
How you doing?
Good. If anyone's wondering, I skipped the last episode, is because I looked at Payback's card, And I was like, wow, I really hate wrestling right now.
That is Bubba.
Great stuff there, dude.
That is our buddy Bubba, and we certainly do miss him. But we do thank him for everything that he did for our show, because he was in J-Bone's role. I can never point the right way. He was in J-Bone's role before I took over and started being the producer of the program. But without Bubba, without his analysis on the show, we wouldn't be here today talking to you guys, and we certainly have come a long way. So cheers. I have water, but cheers to us in the many years that we have been on this channel. I don't even know if we can see on YouTube. Let me take a drink. If we could see on YouTube, if there's a way we could find it of when this channel was created, because that would be the tall tell sign. Because I think we used to do shows before we did them live.
Oh yeah, well we did a lot of tape versions, and I think there were you know, Bubba or somebody uploaded to YouTube.
Yeah, I think it was Bubba that uploaded the shows to YouTube. But yeah, I don't even know where those other pre-recorded shows are. I don't know if Bubba has them or if they're gone forever, but at least we have the live stuff.
It's almost exactly 10 years ago. It says joined May 4th, 2014.
Oh my God. Yeah. So 2014.
Yeah, and I joined. I know I was podcasting for approximately a year to 2 years before you guys had me join the show. So I was still very new.
Yeah.
And that's when you asked me to join. So that was about 10 between 9 and 10 years ago. Yeah.
Well, we've come a long way, I think, and we're happy to be back here. And we've, like Baron said, we've taken some hiatuses, we've taken some breaks because honestly, the product grew stale, like super stale, and we got tired of watching professional wrestling, which sucks. Which is, it's hard to not be a fan. But when we were just dealing with the whole era of Vince McMahon, the many years of Vince McMahon, and just the torture that we had to endure, it just got really old. So now it's nice to see that we are back in a new era, a Triple H era, or whatever they're calling this era now. And it's just really refreshing to see that, pro wrestling is back, and we can actually use the term pro wrestling on WWE TV. No more sports entertainment. It's a great day. It's a new day. Yes, it is.
It's a new era. Yes, it is.
New era. Yes, it is. Absolutely. And speaking of new era, congratulations first and foremost to Jon Moxley winning the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And was that in Japan?
No, that was in Chicago.
That was in Chicago. Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, Wintrust Arena, I believe.
Wow.
Downtown.
So a huge accomplishment for Moxley winning the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Congratulations to Moxley, and I'm sure he'll do us great as a champion. So again, big props to him. That's huge. That's massive accomplishment. And it just sucks that he's on the promotion that he's on, but it is what it is, and we're going to talk about that promotion here in just a few moments. Plus, we've been getting a lot of word of some WWE releases, like Sue Atchison. She's been released after 38 years. There's been a couple other names that have popped up that just left the company, and I think they were all Vince's people. So we're starting to see the artery's been cut. Let's just face it, the artery's been cut, and we're starting to see the slow bleed out of Vince's people leaving the company. Thank you. And and we're starting to get
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, it was totally called for. And we're starting to see the era of Triple H, and it's good to see Stephanie McMahon back. It really is good to see her back. Not only is she a key figure in the women's locker room and then the women's promotion and the women's era, she's just damn hot. Sorry.
Is she ready to admit that she married the wrong Paul yet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was cute.
That was good. That was
From
good.
the Hall of Fame. Yeah, that was good.
So let's talk about the big elephant in the room. Let's start the show off with AEW news. And of course, we didn't want
Max, not you.
No, not you. Not you. We didn't want what we saw happen, but it did. And the Young Bucks, they had big news on the show that the Young Bucks were going to make an announcement, and they did. They came on and they pretty much conducted a shoot on CM Punk without mentioning his name, but they did mention Jack Perry's name, and it was regarding the All In footage from Wembley Stadium, the footage that everybody had been talking about but never saw, and we finally saw it on TBS, which was a terrible move on Tony Khan. Even though he's pissed off at CM Punk, he's mad at CM Punk. They played the footage, and it didn't do anything good or bad for the company. And I know Tony Khan went on social media and said, "Oh God, look at the ratings from TBS." You know what? You can have the best ratings in the world, but the amount of respect that you have as a promotion now is down the tube. Like, you have shot yourself in the foot big time if you ever want to be considered as a major promotion ever again by showing some footage that happened months ago. Who cares?
Last year.
Yeah, last year. Who cares? Who cares anymore? So I want your guys' opinion. Was it a good idea? Even though I think we're all going to agree to say that it was not. But what do you think? It was a good idea that they showed this footage in the manner that they did, and then they turned around and made a promo about FTR, and then FTR came out and did Damage Control right after the Young Bucks went off the air. So, Baron, do you think that was smart?
I'm not sure where in the hell they were trying to go with this. I know they're itching for, some more viewerships. I know they're trying to work on a new deal with TV along those lines. So they're trying to get the viewership up so they can land that, I think. So what better way than to bring someone that's been gone for 7 months back into the fold because he made a comment on a podcast really unrelated to WWE. And, I mean, he was just telling a story on a podcast. So,
yeah.
Was it off the rails? Absolutely. I mean, of course, we all watched the footage and wanted to see it. But, like, in my mind, CM Punk wasn't wrong about anything he said. I mean, like, he was totally honest. He said what he said. We all know where CM Punk lies. He's CM Punk. I mean, that's his name. He's a piece of shit, obviously, at times. So for him to actually have footage of him telling the truth, and then AEW is trying to, I don't know if they were trying to blackmail him or what the case may be on the situation. But I just thought it was very off-putting. And it wasn't just AEW. Jack Perry did his thing. And the only person that came out on top of this was CM Punk. So good job, AEW, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, what they were trying to do is they were trying to bother CM Punk. They were trying to get back at CM Punk by showing this footage. And no, CM Punk didn't lie about anything. The only thing that he told us about the scuffle backstage, and we saw a scuffle backstage. The only thing that we were missing, Max, was the dialogue. So do you think that between CM Punk and Jack Perry, do you think that the dialogue matched? Do you think that what CM Punk said that they were talking about, which I believe was the glass incident, the glass spot? Do you think that that's what they were talking about? Is that your thoughts? What do you think, man? Max Mages.
Well, first off, you got two different sides coming out of the fans, and I didn't see what Punk said about it, but you've got fans that are going, well, this lines up with what Punk said, so what the hell good did you do by airing this? But then you got the AEW stands over there going, this proves Punk lied. Because from what I've gathered from listening to people talk, it sounds like he shoved him, then he choked him, and that's what I saw on video. And so how did he lie? That's what he said. I think this was a waste of time. I don't think it had anything to do with where they aired it. And I'm hearing rumors that the guys didn't really care to do this either. They didn't think it had anything to do with telling their story for what they were building for. Unless they want to bring Perry back as an EVP.
I don't think they're going to bring Perry back as an EVP. If they do anything, I don't know. I think it would be the Young Bucks and I can't even remember what their faction is called anymore, but it would be the Young Bucks faction, and FTR and Perry would be a trios match between them. The Elite. Yeah, the Elite versus, FTR and Perry in a trios match.
But they were defending him. They said that he's been used as a scapegoat. And that's what they were saying on the show that night. So it sounds like they are playing like he's one of them.
Yeah, but if I don't know, I mean, they could spin it. There's so many different ways now that they could spin this and say, well, Perry, you come back and you say, this is what you saw happen, but here's the dialogue or something like that. But
I don't think there's anything they could spin, man. I think this reminds me so much, and I mean, like, obviously different scenario here, but like the finger of doom in WCW. This is stuff you don't want to be doing when you're trying to move to the next level of things. You're
trying to,
you're coming off of WWE's hottest week in decades. Like, don't touch base with that, let's build some stars up here,
Yeah.
You got some big names. Now you got to use them and work them right. And you know what? I said this to you guys in the chat this week. I said it on a couple of posts. I stand by it. You know what will save this company? Tony Khan puts himself in rehab and let someone that knows what they're doing run the company.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think he needs to put this company in somebody else's hands that knows how to book and knows how to build a storyline and knows how to tell the story correctly and knows the business, that knows the business. We don't need shit like this anymore. We don't need them showing footage of a legit fight that happened last year during Wembley at All In. And that doesn't do any good for the business. It doesn't do any good for the company. It doesn't do any good for the locker room. It doesn't do anything. J-Bone, the problem that I saw with this is that they were doing the finger poke of death. This is a brand new 2024 finger poke of death. And this time it's to the business. It's not to a wrestler. It's to the business. And this is it. I don't know if you saw Tony Schiavone, his reaction when they announced that they were going to show this video, or that the Young Bucks had footage of whatever. They had an announcement. Tony Schiavone just looked absolutely disgusted, and he said, "Oh God," he looked like WCW 2.0.
Yeah. This did. I mean, I've heard many opinions on this. Most of them are negative towards the overall aspect of what they did. but I did hear one opinion which was interesting, and I apologize, I can't remember who did it. Probably someone from Wrestle Talk or something like that. One of those guys, Cultaholic. It said something to the effect of, "Look, I'll give them credit when they said they were going to do it. A lot of people thought they were just going to, like, throw people with masks on and then do some kind of parody of it, jokingly backstage to, show the footage." But
That would have been
no, I do give him credit for having the balls to do it. Do I agree that it was a good thing to do? Absolutely not. But Tony said he was going to do it, and he did it. And I I feel bad for the Bucks. And I mean, I'll give honestly, I'll give Bucks the most credit for keyword trying to put this all together with what's going on now currently with them and FTR. Sadly, it made no sense.
No.
Like something CM Punk and Jack Perry did caused a rift, friction, mental anguish, whatever, between the Young Bucks, what they were trying to do at that pay-per-view, and now it's still going on with FTR. Makes no sense. Absolutely no.
Well, and the audacity that they had to shoot on this and then turn around and cut a promo. The audacity that Tony Khan had to make the Bucks do a shoot and then turn it into a promo on FTR, and then FTR comes out and does their own shoot / promo. It's just yeah, it is just so stupid. This is exactly what we saw with Vince Russo talking about Hulk Hogan not signing the fucking contract that he wanted him to sign. This is exactly what Vince Russo would have done, and it's bad booking. Bad storytelling. It's terrible. They need to stop taking a page out of Russo's book, because it's not a good book to read from. I mean, shoot, anybody would tell you that. Anybody would tell you that it's not good. Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, if he were here, would tell you no, leave it alone. Anybody from that era of WCW would tell you that it is not a good. Jim Cornette is one of them. He would say, don't listen to him. Good God. So where do we see the company going after this? Because right now they're on a slow. I don't even know where they're going. Honestly, it's just so they're on a fucking roller coaster is what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're panicking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for higher viewers, whatever the case may be. It sucks to see the ratings after that show and see that it really didn't matter that they mentioned WWE for 90% of the show. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
Dude, it's obviously still the number 2 company. It's just a very big separation from WWE to AEW. They just need to truly get back to, just finding talent and promoting the talent that they have and create some good product, man. Like the whole, and this is my problem. I loved AEW until it started getting mentioned about WWE. I mean, does WWE truly mention AEW? No, they don't. Is there some snide remarks? Sure. That's how it's played. But when you're physically going after a company, when you think you're rivaling the company, it doesn't do well. We've all watched WCW era and how that ended for them. With all the talent they had, like the amount of talent that was in WCW at that time was absurd. They had to get back to the basics. They had to get some solid feuds going. And I'm going to be real, they have to keep Young Bucks off the TV. I can't stand them. I don't think they do much of anything other than put the limelight on them the entire time.
Well, they're heels, so I mean that's what they're doing. They're doing their job.
EVP, the executive vice president, and if we have seen for the last few months, management has went to shit in AEW. So maybe we need to take a little back seat and do some working on the back end of things.
So so? I mean, for me, the Young Bucks are doing what's similar, very similar things to what The Rock did at WrestleMania. He said, "I'm the boss." To the ref, he said, "I'm the boss. You listen to me." So that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to mimic The Rock, and The Rock is trying to mimic them, and that's what that role is. That's what the character is. You're a heel. You're the boss. You're trying to.
But you're Young Bucks, and that's The Rock. The Rock's going to get away with that. The Young Bucks are.
He's better at it.
The Young Bucks, the Young Bucks can get away with that in AEW. They wouldn't be able to do that in WWE because it's a totally different aspect. You're right. It's a completely different aspect. It's a completely different atmosphere. But that's exactly what they're trying to do right now. And they're trying to ride off of The Rock, and it's working for AEW. They are the heel. They are over. That's what they got heat. That's exactly what they were looking for, and so with that being said, I think that they're okay there. I think that they were just put in a very shitty position with Tony Khan saying, "Hey, you have to go out there and show this video." And the picture that I have here, they didn't want. They had a look of disgust on their own face, but they knew that they had to do it because of the job.
Yeah,
and they don't want to go to WWE. So
I've also seen reports that most of the stuff that happened this past show was mutual. Like there was guys on the show that wanted to do this because they felt attacked, they felt whatever. But my point about the Young Bucks is like there is a clear disconnection from booking management on the back end and to the shows. Young Bucks are fantastic in the ring. They got a great mind for the business. Absolutely. I think it's time to allow them to kind of sit back behind Gorilla and put some of this booking into effect because it's just lackluster at this point.
Well, yeah, the booking needs to get better. We can all agree that the booking definitely needs to get better. We can agree that Tony Khan needs to take a back seat outside of booking and bring in somebody that actually knows the business and knows what is good on TV and what would work and what doesn't work. Definitely this didn't work because nobody wanted to see this. Nobody cares about the backstage drama. Nobody gives a shit. Yeah, we heard about it because, we talked about it and every other podcast out there that covers wrestling talked about it. I think even Bubba Ray Dudley talked about it on his show. So we're talking about it, but it should have died. It should have died a long time ago. But the problem is you have the ego of CM Punk and then you have the ego of Tony Khan, which those are just it's just a collision out of hell between those two. And if Vince McMahon were still in town, if he were still in charge of WWE, my God, his ego would get the better of both of Punk and and Tony Khan. And now you have Triple H in power where they're still mentioning people in a different promotion. Well, they're not even mentioning people in a different promotion. They're talking about it from, I believe, from a company standpoint. They're talking about it from a business standpoint where Tony, where Triple H said, if you are a part-time guy, but you want the full-time benefits, this isn't the company for you. And I don't know if he was talking about Will Ospreay. Nobody really knows he was talking about Will Ospreay or not, but Will Ospreay later on during Dynamite came out there and cut the hellacious Triple H promo that we didn't even want. And when he mentioned that, how did he mention that? How did he word that? I'm actually going to go look up.
About sleeping with Stephanie becoming. Yeah. We've all been saying that joke for 20, 30 plus fucking years. It's not even doesn't even scratch the surface of things. But yeah.
I don't think he would have gotten the company if it was only because he was banging Steph.
And what Triple H said, now that we're onto that, is, was talking about the grind because WWE is a grind. There was no mention of anybody by name, and Triple H ain't going to do that. He don't need to do that. He could care less. That is a typical business corporate answer. any corporation is going to say the same exact thing. Like, it's no different anywhere on a real life job than wrestling. And of course, people are getting butthurt over it. And hey, it got Will Ospreay on the mic, but it was completely awkward because that's probably the last guy you want to take shots at. Triple H. Why would you take shots at Triple H? He's putting on classics right now.
Yeah, that's the last guy that you want to go to war with, honestly, is Triple H. And Will Ospreay, honestly, I love Will Ospreay, but he's not ready to. He's not at the magnitude of what Triple H can do on the mic and what we've heard Triple H being able to do on the mic. So I think that I don't even know what their attendance record was for this show for Dynamite. I don't know if they had a sold out crowd. I don't know if they even
they
had a lot of butts
and crowds for a long time, man.
Yeah, because it looks like a very expensive indie production. AEW does, and that's sad to say because I want them to do well. It was Cody's company, and I wanted that to do well for them, but it's just you've had a lot of people leave, You've had all these big draws to the company, and then they've all decided, you know what, Tony, you're fucking weird. We're gonna go back to WWE, and that's what they're doing right now. They're trying to. I think AEW is trying to play as not damage control, but I think they're falling apart. I think what we're seeing is AEW slowly falling apart. As Courtney just put it, it's a mess in the talent, in the locker room, and in the gorilla position, everywhere as a company and as a whole.
It reminds me of Jacksonville Jaguars. You got one of the freshest, youngest football teams in the NFL that has a very good chance of doing great things, and mid-season just go to shit, which is also owned by a con. So yeah, there you go.
So
that's Tony's team. That's Tony's team, right?
Yeah. Oh well, it's his dad's team. I don't think he has any ownership with Jacksonville Jaguars. That's just, I think he's on the board or something. But his dad owns.
Oh, okay.
No, but he definitely has access to the pocketbooks. That's how he funds AEW.
Yeah.
I shared stuff with you guys in the group chat before from my friend Eric, and he basically translated what both men said. Paul Levesque. Some people can't handle the grind of WWE schedule and choose to work less. Ospreay. I know about the grind, bruv. I fly 16 hours to work 1 day a week and put on one excellent match a week. Don't tell me about the grind.
Yeah.
One match a week is not the grind, no matter how far you flew.
Right. Yeah. And, taking shots at Stephanie McMahon because you're trying to get under Triple H's skin, that's just not a good look on Ospreay. And I like Will Ospreay.
Oh, he's phenomenal. He's great. He's just put in a very awkward position. And my biggest thing is, and I would like to know, like, where MJF goes after all of this, because does this kind of like defer him away from AEW? Like,
does it
I don't know. And that's their biggest star. I don't care what anybody says. MJF is AEW to me. I will tune into AEW if he's on. That's my go-to. And
I think that's what they're honestly, it's weird not seeing MJF in AEW. And did you guys watch Dynamite at the beginning where Joe was coming out, Samoa Joe, and I forget who he was going to wrestle. I think it was for
Dustin Rhodes.
Some sort of he was gonna wrestle Dustin Rhodes for some sort of qualifier, and Swerve Strickland came out and absolutely just absolutely wrecked Samoa Joe.
Sideswiped him, right?
Sideswiped him from the stage and put him through a table outside. So that was just weird. That's the kind of booking that Vince Russo would do, or somebody in the WCW would do. And that's just not good. That's not a good look. First and foremost, why would you have a championship match at the beginning of the show? Why would you have that?
He does that a lot on TV to like, Yeah.
Oh God, Orange Cassidy when he held the title. When he held the title, he was the first match every single week. The first match.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what are you doing? Why are we seeing this? Max, you were in the world of professional wrestling. You at least the world of wrestling, and you booked matches before.
Yeah.
What are they doing wrong? And I think I've asked you this before, but what the hell are they doing wrong?
So there's a formula. You want a hot opener. The first match has to get the crowd hooked. The second match needs to calm them down a little bit. The second match is typically going to be your worst match on the card. And you want to play with their emotions after that and to hit them hard for the main event. Now, feasibly, you can open the show with a title match. You can't. It's not typical protocol, but you can do it if you think it's going to be the right match to draw the crowd in and get them hot. But then you better end it with something spectacular if you do that. I would never open a show with a title match unless I had another title match to close it with.
Yeah. So do you think
you got to book you got to bookend it proper?
Yeah. So Max, do you think what they did on Dynamite this past week when Samoa Joe was walking out to the ring to take on Dustin Rhodes, Swerve Strickland comes out and sideswipes him, and the commentators are like, "Whoa, we don't know what's going on." Do you think that was that good? Is that good booking? Because that's what they were.
The only way that's a good booking is if Joe is going to overcome what happened to him and walk out there at the main event and defend that title, because that's what a champion does.
Oh, right.
If you don't see him again the rest of the show, you just eliminated your champ and made him look bad.
Well, and Excalibur did a good job at making himself look bad because after that happened, he's, whoa, what's going on? This is so out of pocket for us. We've never seen this happen before. Shut up, Excalibur. Just shut up.
It's wrestling, for God's sakes.
I can't stand Excalibur. I'm going to go on book and tell you on page, I cannot stand Excalibur as the head commentator for AEW. My God, I'd rather hear Tony Schiavone call matches. And it sucks that Tony's on color because I think Tony's good at calling a match. Give the mic, give him the lead role. If he even wants it, give him the lead role and take Excalibur off TV because I can't stand the man. I've never been it's Wednesday. You know what that means. He's just so over the fucking top.
You know, if it was me, if it was my company and I had those two on commentary, as much as I personally hate Schiavone would be my play-by-play, and Excalibur would be my color commentary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's what he's good at.
And Taz is the heel, but Taz has been flip-flopping back and forth. He's been going from, oh, wow, I really feel bad for this guy. And then he says, you know what? That's just a business. This is the business that we're in. This is what we got to do. And if you can't do that, then you don't need to be here. Make up your mind, dude. Make up your mind.
Taz always bounces back and forth.
He does. It's annoying. Either and you know, take a page out of Lawler's book or take a page out of Heenan's book. If you're going to be a heel commentator, be a heel commentator. Unless there's something really wrong and something really serious going on in the ring, either send your sympathies or shut the fuck up.
You're right.
Other than that, be a heel commentator. You know, that's what Taz needs to remember is either you're a heel or you shut up, you know? Yeah. So with that being said, I don't know. I don't know where we're going with AEW. I don't know where this company is headed. I think it's headed for disaster. We're seeing a slow implosion of the walls coming down of the company because of booking problems, because you have people going out there cutting shoots and then turning them into promos. And then you have other guys going out there. I mean, fuck, Adam Copeland went out there and played Damage Control too. last week. Not even last week, but it was about 2 weeks ago. He went out there and he started shooting a shoot. He was doing a shoot. He was trying to play damage control and saying, "This is professional wrestling. This is where the big boys come to play." It's where the big boys come to play, but it's also where they live in toxicity. And I think that's where we're headed with this. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys just saw that, but Max's butt crack. Is that the new peeing on the mic thing?
I didn't see nothing. I didn't see nothing. I mean, they're like, yeah, I didn't see it. Thank God.
I blinked.
Yeah, you blinked. It was like a full moon.
Yeah,
man.
I think we burned the Punk topic. Let's talk about some positive things from WWE for the week, because it's just a new era.
Let's talk. Yeah, it's a new era in WWE. Let's talk about SmackDown, man, and what a SmackDown it was. We even had a pretty good Raw too, but man, SmackDown just blew it out of the water. Outside of WrestleMania 40, one of the biggest WrestleManias that the company has had, and the first WrestleMania that did not involve Vince McMahon. And SmackDown was really, really good. Now, we did see a turn. I believe it was at the beginning of the show, because I didn't watch it. I wasn't home. I didn't watch SmackDown Live. But there was a turn regarding the bloodline, and we saw Jimmy Uso, we saw Solo Sikoa, and we saw Paul Heyman out there. Paul had the mic. Paul was cutting the promo and all that, talking about, Cody Rhodes is now your new undisputed WWE Universal Champion. And Solo Sikoa, as soon as Paul tried to swerve it back towards the bloodline, Solo Sikoa had his own words to say about it. And gosh, it was so damn good. So Solo Sikoa pretty much blamed Jimmy Uso for Roman dropping the title.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't?
So, here's what happened. Okay, they opened the show with Cody Rhodes. They opened the show with Cody, and then they cut to a shot backstage where Heyman, Solo, and Jimmy come walking up on their usual locker room, and there's a sign on the door that says American Nightmare. So Solo's like, "I'll fix that." And Heyman says, "No, winning and losing matters around here. We lost. He won. It's his locker room now." Then they went down to the ring, and Heyman cut his promo, and Solo stopped him and said, "Winning and losing matters, right?" "Yes. So when you lose, there are consequences to pay." So it was about Jimmy losing to Jay.
Okay, so it was. So then Sikoa hugs. So Sikoa pushes Heyman aside. He goes and he stares down Jimmy. Jimmy is talking back to Sikoa, and Sikoa hugs him and says, he loves him. And then we have one of the biggest comings to WWE, and one of the biggest pieces of the storyline for the bloodline. And that's TAMA TONGA.
TAMA TONGA. Yeah.
That was great. Tama, he attacks Jimmy, and is pretty much he pretty much is the new Solo. He's like Solo 2.0, because I think he's going to be Solo's right hand man. I think we're going to see the split, and we could see down the road maybe the next, what's the next pay-per-view? It's Payback, right? Or is it Backlash? Backlash. So Backlash, we could see Solo and Tama versus Jimmy and maybe Reigns, maybe Roman, or could it be The Rock?
I think it's safe to say Roman and Rock are probably out until SummerSlam. I think that's a smart thing to do. Let some of the younger bloodlines kind of, get their TV time in.
So then we could see Tama Tonga with Solo Sikoa at ringside versus Jimmy. Maybe in some sort of stipulation, maybe a no disqualification match, so that way Solos can come in and do whatever he wants. What do you guys think, Max? What do you think, man? What's your thoughts?
I don't think so. Solo can come in and do what he wants. I think we're getting another member of the bloodline at that point, and I think it's so that guy can come in and do what he wants. It was also announced over the weekend that Jacob Fatu is now signed with the WWE. And we still don't know what his role is going to be. I think he is part of the bloodline.
Oh, yeah.
Which part of the bloodline, though?
Which part is he going to do with bloodline?
Okay. Because he could, he could acknowledge Reigns. There could be an opportunity where he acknowledges Reigns. And then there's your tag match at Backlash.
It's true.
There's that. J-Bone, what are your thoughts, man?
Man, I'm stoked. A lot of people have been talking about Tama Tonga stepping away from New Japan for a long time. I've seen so many opinions that they wanted Tama Tonga to somehow, some way be the next member of the bloodline, and Jacob Fatu. But I don't think anybody saw this coming. This was because if anything, it was just, hey, the bloodline's going to grow. It'd be Jimmy, Solo, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga with Roman, and just growing the stable. And it's like, it'd be like a road to get Roman his title back, or just tearing loose on the company for revenge, something like that, something generic but typical, and I mean that in a positive way, just saying that'd be what they would do. But no, we've got a whole new bloodline forming, with looks like Solo leading. He brings in Tama Tonga. Word is that Jacob Fatu is coming in too, because he's signed. So he's probably going to join that. But it's going to be interesting when that happens. Is that going to happen next week? Is that going to happen after a match between Tama Tonga with Solo versus Jimmy? Possibly a real re-alliance with Jay. The brothers, get back together. There's a lot of things that can happen. There's a lot of speculation, and I tell you what, man, I've said this the 10 plus years that I've been podcasting. I love a shakeup like this that comes out of nowhere. The WWE is doing this great. They're giving the ball to Solo, and almost most of all, we can't not mention this. Paul Heyman, like if you watch this, I watched this segment back several times last night just to try to get proper picture for the cover and shit like that. Watch Paul Heyman's reaction. Can we please get this guy an Emmy? It's priceless. He looks like he shit his pants like 5 times in the ring because he's like, what is going on? Just like, he tries to call Roman. Solo takes the phone, destroys it, and Paul's like in the corner, like, oh, fuck.
I always said that Heyman has the best facial expressions in the business.
Paul has the best expressions, hands down, the best emotions, hands down, in this business, because he has the gift of gab, but he is a wimp when it comes to these wrestlers. And man, he plays it off so nicely. He did that with Brock. He did that with Roman. He did that with Solo that we just saw on Friday.
Cody. Yeah.
Cody, and he's just so good.
And that's the thing, is he's usually the one with all the answers. He's very prophetic. A lot of times in his promos, Paul Heyman, even playing the top heel, on your screen at whatever promo he's cutting, will come across as a baby face when he's trying to explain, what's going on, what they're going to do to you, why, backstory. He'll tell you some history on some stuff, and it'll be like, wow, it really makes you think about it, and then realize he's just, it's leading up to some big attack, or something like that. God, it's so great having. Yeah. It's great having Heyman there, and this is the first time where Heyman is really stumped, clueless. He is scared. He is not the one with all the answers, and that's one of the best parts of this whole thing.
Yeah, he had nothing to say, and this is a very, very good build-up with what they're doing and giving Solo the ball, and we're seeing a different look inside the bloodline, especially with the newcomers, and I'm excited for it. I'm here for it. I think we're all here for it, and this is just going to be a lot of fun. So I think we can all agree that we are definitely here for it. Here's something else that happened on SmackDown too. Bayley came out and addressed the crowd and thanked them for being behind her, and the crowd said that you deserve it, and the chants build, and that was all fire. And then all of a sudden, here we go with Tiffany's music. Tiffany Stratton comes out and
oh my God.
Does she challenge Bayley for the title?
She thought Bayley was about to say, I'm announcing an open challenge, and so she came out to accept said open challenge.
Oh.
But then Naomi came out, and what was the deal with Naomi?
Bayley told her, no, I was actually about to offer the title match to Naomi.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then Stratton takes the shot at Naomi, and again, man, I think what they did with what they're doing with Bayley is so good. It's just so good. And giving her the title and letting her run with it, letting her be, the face of the women's division. And I'm here for that too. I mean, Bayley she's so good in the ring. She's so good on the mic, and I'm just here for Bayley. I love Bayley. I love her. And I'm so happy that she doesn't do the inflatable flailing arm flailing tube where the all anymore. I am so happy. With that. But we're seeing a lot of good things with WWE and how they're, how the promotion is going to be ran. We're still going to see stuff that we don't want to see, I'm sure, because that's just what it is. You have to have stuff in there that people may not like. Another highlight of the night was the LA Knight and Styles stare down. That was another good. That was another good of SmackDown on Friday, and that was
qualifying match. Fire, man! Qualifying matches were great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they've been really good. I'm really curious on how AJ plays out in this match against LA Knight. I'd like to see it be a triple threat at Backlash for that title against Cody.
Yeah.
I think AJ's got to have one more little title run, because there's been a lot of discussion about retirement that I've seen him talk about on podcasts and like interviews and stuff like that. So he's phenomenal. I would love to see him have a little nice couple matches with Cody Rhodes leading up before his retirement, for sure.
And another thing that I think is refreshing to some and a major change is the major production changes that are coming to the company. Of course, now Kevin Dunn is out of the company, and now Lee Fitting, a guy by the name of Lee Fitting, has joined the company, and he brings a fresh perspective to the promotion, resulting in noticeable shifts in approach to modernizing and evolving the presentation in WWE programming. So, under his influence, they appear to be taking steps to refresh the visual style and the storytelling techniques. And we saw that on Monday Night Raw, where we didn't have a Titantron. It looked like the entrance stage of WrestleMania. Where I know that what they were trying to do is they're coming off of one of the biggest things in pro wrestling, one of the biggest nights in pro wrestling, and that's WrestleMania. And they were trying to fill as many seats as they could in that stadium. And the Titantron takes up a lot of seats that they could put butts in. So they were just trying to do that. But also, I don't know if anybody saw this, but I saw a lot of videos on social media circling around that during, I think they were on a commercial break from Raw, and the lights go out, and we hear this ominous music, and the screens go black, everything goes black. We hear this ominous music, and then it was probably for like 3 seconds, 5 seconds, if that. And all of a sudden, the lights come back on, and all I could think of was Uncle Howdy. Is this a tease for Uncle? Are we going to see Uncle Howdy, and how are they going to work him into a story, and how are they going to work him back into the company? For that, dude, I am so here for that.
I think they're going to do something really original with him. It's going to be, all in the vein of Bray Wyatt, but it's going to be something fresh. And I'm really happy that Bo is doing it. He's got a lot of charisma. He's got a lot of talent, and it's funny, you look at him and you look at his brother Bray, rest in peace. They're so different, except when you hear him talk. It's like, if you watch that special on Bray Wyatt on Peacock, folks, if you haven't watched that, grab a box of Kleenex. And it's just a great story, great biography done by those around Bray Wyatt and his history in professional wrestling.
Right.
You listen to Bo, he sounds a lot like his brother. He really does, without even trying. It came off different when he was like, "I'm Bo Dallas," but you could like when he talked to you and you listen to the two, it's like, yeah, there's a real similarity between the two voices. So if you're gonna, honor Bray Wyatt, bring that part of the, I'll say, universe, that storyline back, and then put a new twist on it, maybe some new characters, maybe they introduce some new people to go along with it. I'm here for it. I'm really excited. I think they're getting away from a lot of like kooky characters. For example, Ivar showed up on NXT this week without his Viking getup. He had a t-shirt and jeans on.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, and I don't typically watch that, but I saw the clip of it and I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
that's refreshing.
Yeah, and Baron brought this up too. I don't know if you guys ever realized this, but we have DX in control. D Generation X is in control. You have Triple H, who is in control of WWE, and then you have Shawn Michaels in control of NXT. And it just takes me back to that image of during the I guess it would be the aggression era, where you have Shawn Michaels and Triple H standing on top of the WWE building, and they spray painted DX on the side of it. We knew that
was great.
who knew that would be like a revelation? Who knew that would be that would actually come to fruition? You know, that is so awesome. I love that. I love that for them, because they deserved it, because when DX was my faction, I mean, that was my crew. Those were my guys. I shared that in our private chat last night. I said those two and what they did for this industry was amazing. And, you know, taking the army, taking the tank to the front door at WCW with Triple H and X-Pac and Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, taking the tank to a show that WCW was doing, freaking brilliant. Freaking live too. Yes, freaking brilliant. It was so good. And WCW had no idea that they were going to do that, which is even better. Even better. So you have such a good train of thought when it comes to this business with Triple H. And then you have a good train of thought when it comes to NXT with Shawn Michaels and developing these superstars, these upcoming superstars. And I'm so happy that Road Dogg is still a part of the company. As Courtney just said, does main event with Blake Chadwick. That is so good. I did not know. I knew that he was a part of the company. I didn't know that he was doing main event, but it is just so refreshing. I wish Billy Gunn was there for it. I wish Billy Gunn was back in the company. I understand what he's doing, but you know,
he's with his sons, you know.
He's with his sons, and I get that, you know, but I tell you, the Guns are good too. The Guns boys are just so good. I really enjoy watching them on AEW. I really enjoy watching them with Jay White.
They've come a long way.
The only good thing about AEW is watching the Guns and the Bullet Club, you know.
The sad thing is they ain't doing shit with Jay White. Jay White should be world champion right now.
They're not. Yeah.
Except,
absolutely.
you know, he's got matches going on Rampage. It's like, bro, come on.
Yeah.
He's a top guy.
Again, we get into the problem with the booking. You know, we talk about the issues with booking on AEW, and that's what it is. That's why we're seeing what we're seeing, you know. But yeah, absolutely. Jay White should be the face of the company. He should be he should have the title. He really should.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know why, I don't know what spawned an idea in Tony Khan's head to, hey, put the title on Samoa Joe. I don't know.
Well, I'll defend that part because I love Samoa Joe.
I do too.
And Samoa Joe has still got a lot left in the tank. He's a lot left to give. So, like, if you're not going to have a veteran like CM Punk in the company, by all means, give it to Samoa Joe. Let him have a last run because it's, you know, he's not in like the first part of his, you know, career anymore. He's on the second half, the tail end, whatever you want to call it, depending on how healthy he stays. But then to put over a new guy coming up, Survivor's going to have his day. I don't mind the long-term booking with that. So if it's to put over someone fresh, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Well, back to WWE. I'm done with AEW.
I was just thinking about this. We could do, we could give our ratings of how badly we want Tony Khan out of this business, and we could do it by bumps. Since he's always doing bumps of the white stuff, we could do 1 out of 10 bumps, 10 being the most. Yeah. 10 being the most, and that's not a milk mustache, by the way, that you see from Tony Khan. So let's do it like this. Let's ask the question: how bad do we want Tony Khan out of professional wrestling? 1 out of 10 bumps. Baron, what do you think? What do you give it?
I'm gonna say 1 bump. I don't want him out of the business. I just want him to get his shit together. As simple as that. It's
okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Max.
50.
That's a lot.
Did you say 50?
Listen, if Khan will go to rehab and do what he needs to do, then I'll take that bet. But until then, 50.
That's a lot more than 10, sir.
A lot more than 10.
Well, I'm a lot more than one person, so my vote counted 5 times. That's why I gave you 5 tens.
So are you saying we're supposed to quadruple your opinion then, or?
Yes.
I got the biggest opinion in the room, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. He is the heel of all heels. J-Bone. What?
Biggest something. Okay.
Oh my God. What do you think, man? 1 out of 10 bumps. Should Tony leave the business?
If 10 is the most and 1 is the least, I'd put it somewhere in the middle, because
it's about 5.
I'd say 5. Look, I'm glad there's another company.
I am too.
Wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Tony Khan's vision, along with others that he helped create it with, like, well, you gotta say, Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, the Bucks, and many others surrounding him in that vision. It's hard to say 5 years ago. It's hard to think, but does he need help? Yeah, absolutely. He should put more on the talent that is surrounding him. You've got these literal icons in your company, like Jerry Lynn, Billy Gunn, and Big Show, so many others.
Yeah.
Even Mark Henry, lean on these. What's that?
Taz.
Taz, yeah, just to name several, yeah. There's so much that Tony Khan could do for his company. I mean, look, the wrestling's great. He's got, you look at the roster and the talent in the company, I'd say on some days it does rival WWE, depending on the matches and the booking and stuff. But storyline wise, long-term booking, just overall health of the company and consistency, yeah, it needs help. That's a 5.
Okay. I'll agree with that. I think that Tony needs to take a back seat, and I will agree that you have names like Bryan Danielson, and you have Chris Jericho that are helping. You have the Young Bucks who are trying to put their name in, but you also have Taz, and you have Jerry Lynn, and you have all these names that are in the AEW that are trying to help Tony. Is just the fact is Tony really listening to them? And I think that's where the biggest problem comes in at, is that Tony is his own worst enemy. Tony Khan's enemy is Tony Khan, and he's got to start listening and relying on these guys, even if it means him taking a back seat on how to book a proper show. And for the love of God, please, Tony, if you're listening to this, if you ever watch this show, stop with the blood, please. It's becoming just way too much. It's just way too damn much, and we don't need.
Like,
we
it
don't.
doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be every week.
No, that's what we're seeing on every single show.
Yeah.
Whether it's Dynamite, whether it's Rampage or Collision, we're seeing it on every single show. Stop.
Yeah.
We don't need blood on every single show. And so
Yeah,
I'm going to give it, I'm going to probably say 10 bumps. 10 bumps. Take it back.
That's
Take
hardcore, bro.
Take a back seat, Tony. You're done. You're done. You need to stop with this and everything that you're doing. It's just not good. It's not good for the company. It's definitely not good for especially if you're trying to renew a TV title, a TV contract. This isn't good. So
Yeah. There's ways to get attention. There's ways to bring viewers in, and like I said, man, you can focus on rivalries, focus on the wrestling. You've got look, we got Will Ospreay cutting promos on Stephanie. Get him in the focus on the ring stuff and other positive promos about tell us why we should watch again.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. And
but if that was the case, why aren't more people watching? Huh?
But I don't want people to go out there and tell us why we should be watching to save face, to play damage control, like what we saw with Adam Copeland and what we saw.
I didn't mean literally like Adam Copeland did, right?
But that's what they're doing. They're telling us, hey, you should watch this product, but I'm also going to go back and tell you why this guy's opinion is wrong.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing. I honestly think you're seeing that, guys like Copeland and FTR have faith in AEW. They have a lot of faith in this company. What they're doing is wrong, and I think that's what they're trying to allude to. And I think that's what they're trying to get us to watch. I think they're trying to say, look, outside of all the bullshit, this is a really good show. This is a really good promotion. And it is.
It's not. Let's go. It's not. Come on. It's not.
Look, we weren't saying that 5 years ago when Vince McMahon was still in WWE and we were tired of WWE. And
I personally I've watched WWE since the early 90s, and I've seen some of the worst wrestling, some of the worst gimmicks of all time. And even 5 years ago, WWE was not as bad as that early 90s run of wrestling. That was horrendous. Until things kind of shook up and finally went to Attitude Era. I mean, like, definitely there's always going to be downward spirals of WWE and AEW and all that, all wrestling. But, it's just
if you're comparing the gimmick 80s to what we're seeing now, that's not a fair shot. That's not fair because the gimmicks in the 80s and the 90s were fucking awful until we got to the Attitude Era and WCW started to liven things up a little bit to compete with WWE or WWF at the time. But I'm talking about the fact that we have two promotions, one who is doing absolutely stellar things with a very prominent name gone from the business, gone from the industry, to another promotion that was good, was a breath of fresh air that we needed when Vince McMahon was in professional wrestling. And now we're seeing the very, very slow downfall of this promotion. And we want them to be saved. We want AEW to survive because competition is good. You can't go around buying your competition. Look, put it this way. If we, as a podcast, went to every other podcast that talks about professional wrestling and we said, look, we want to buy you. We want to soak up that competition. What good does that do us? What good?
Well, you got to be worthy of buying to begin with, and I don't think there's enough for me to want to go buy AEW. That's
well, no, but it's just comparing.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just they got to get back to the basics.
If WWE soaked up all of the money that they could to even consider buying AEW, they probably wouldn't. Because competition is good, and honestly, it's getting good for WWE, and it's bad for AEW, and that's because of the booking thing. That's because of the problems with the people running the ship in AEW. They don't know what they're doing, and you have the commander who is at the helm of it all, and he's trying to listen to all of his subordinates and his captains and everybody, and he's not doing it, so we're seeing the ship fall, we're seeing the ship sink, and the guys backstage are plugging up the holes. But that's a conversation to save for another time. I think we need to hop off here. It was a good show, very good show. And let's go ahead and give our socials out so that people can follow us. Max Mages, you go first.
I am at Max Mages on Twitter. You can find my other podcast at Our Shots Podcast. And good news, sometime this weekend, part 2 of the Battle of the Bands will be up on random-shots.net.
Killer. Make sure you check that out. Baron.
Right here, you can find me on the Twitter game at Scumbag Jordan with 3 N's. That's where you'll find me. I'm on there, not doing much, maybe some reposts and stuff, but hit me up.
Uyaka Shah. J-Bone.
You can find me on the Twitter box at JBone5150. You could also find me over occasionally on Smash This Podcast, but primarily on Thursdays. Hosting TNI, doing all things TNA on Thursday nights following every weekly episodic TNA episode.
Right on. And you can follow our show at X at The Ramblers Pod. You can also find us on Facebook at Ramblers Unleashed. Of course, YouTube here at youtube.com. And just search Ramblers Unleashed, and tell your friends to like us, share the links, share every show that you can, and click the subscribe button, hit that bell icon, and that lets you know every time we go live here on YouTube. Thank you again for checking us out, and we certainly do appreciate all the love that we've been getting. This is episode number 11 of Ramblers Unleashed, and this isn't the last one, so stay tuned. There's more content coming, and we appreciate you checking us out. In the meantime, have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk later.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.